Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunset Stitches. My name is Trevor Conquergood, and this is Floriani Digi-Talk. So, what's up, everybody out there in Floriani Nation? Hope you guys are having a great day today. I'm back from Cleveland, Ohio. You guys, I got my T-shirt from the Buckeye State, and I made my postcard to mail home. Actually, I mailed one to the store. I was going to mail it from Ohio. Usually I do, before I leave town, I mail it and it gets there quick. But I didn't have any stamps, so I had to bring it home and I put a Canadian stamp on it and stuck it in the mailbox. So it'll probably take a week or maybe two from Canada. I don't know. But that's one of the things I like to do when I travel is make a postcard to mail. And then I share the design, of course, with everybody that was at the event. And how do you like my Cleveland skyline embroidery design, eh? Pretty cool. So it was fun, and I'll have an update for you guys a little bit about my trip and maybe some fun news. So it's great to see you today, Cindy. Thanks for dropping in. This is the free font of the week, and I just want to say I'm sorry to everyone that came on Friday because I thought I had a pre-record, that was like, okay, if I can't go live, because I was thinking I might just go live, but I made a pre-record and I thought I had it scheduled to go so that if I didn't push live, it would go, but it didn't. So nothing went on live on Friday. The font went live on Friday, took me till Friday night, and then Saturday I got the message that I messed it up and I needed to refix it. So if you missed it, it's there now. Anyway, it's nice to see you guys, Anne and Candy and Mary and Joyce and Cindy. Thank you so much for making comments. Yeah, it's great to hear from you guys when you make chat comments when it's live like that. It's kind of fun for us. And even if you come and watch the replay, it's still fun. I watch it. I see all the comments and I try to at least like them, or if you ask me a question, I'll certainly reply. But okay.
You share the cityscapes on one of your sites?
Nick's asking me if I share the cityscapes on my sites. And the truth is, I have shared some of them through my Trevor and Friends Embroidery Club Season 2. Certainly not all of them. I've never made like a concisive all of Trevor's skylines or all of Trevor's postcards. Typically, if somebody writes to me and says, I used to live in Tucson, I usually just send them the design. And then maybe someday was my kind of plan. Like maybe I'll do a postcard stream and you just get all the postcards. You guys, I don't know. But that's a great question and I appreciate you asking because so I guess what I'm saying is if you said, can I have all your postcards? I'll say no. But if you were like really nice and said, I used to live in Cleveland and I'd love to make one of those, then I'm usually pretty generous. That's kind of what I do. I made them. I gave it to all the people that came to the event. That's who got the design. I tried to make my events a little special like that. So, and I brought some pictures from you guys. So, does it help out Sunset Stitches with comments? It does, Cindy. I'm sure it really does. And thank you so much for making them. I made some new designs for you guys. And so Winnie the Pooh had his head stuck in the honey pot. And then he had bad dreams. Remember the heffalumps and woozles? Well, I digitized one of them. And I think we're going to work on another one today. So I will show you guys we'll do a little digitizing today. You guys are welcome to ask me questions. And I saw Larissa asked a question and then promptly split, right? Well, that's fine. If you don't mind coming back to watch the replay, Larissa, I will quickly show, because it's a very simple question that you asked, how to make an applique from a letter. So, or of letters, I think is what the question was, but we'll get to that. Candy says, LOL. What was that, Nick? I used to live everywhere. I bet you did, Candy. I'll figure it out. Nicholas and I have talked about what should we do with some of your stuff like that. So we'll make some better plans and move them forward. The truth is, I want to focus in on finishing Trevor and Friends Embroidery Club Season 2. So that's really where my extra energy's been going lately. I know you guys don't see it all, but when we're ready to announce the next download, we'll make a little bit bigger deal about it. Yeah, so welcome everybody's come live. I wanted to share a few pictures from Cleveland before I get working today, because last Wednesday I was in Cleveland and we were live at Pins and Needles. So if you want to check that out, you want to visit Digitalk number 8, because today is number 9. And oh no, today is number 8. You want to check out number 7. Next week's number today is number 8, Trevor. And last Digitalk number 7, I was live in Cleveland, and it was kind of fun because, like I said, I made that my postcard, and I was really inspired to see the skyline and specifically the Cleveland sign. And so I got a great picture of it and I sketched it, and then I realized there's more than one of them. In fact, I did some research and there's 6 of them, and I managed to find 5 of them. So I thought I'd show you guys real quick some of my pictures. So will you switch my screen bigger, Nick? And then and what I'm going to show you guys. So this is today, and these are the designs that you can download. For today, the heffalump with Winnie the Pooh having a bad dream and his head stuck in the honey. But you need to be a member, right? So if you're not a member already and you want to join for my workshop number 4, you can use the discount coupon Trevor99, and that'll allow you to join for $99.97. And you'll get the Digitalk designs, and you'll get the font archives, but you'll get all the great classes. Really, that's what you're meant to join for, is the classes. So but I had another set of slides. I just wanted to kind of show you guys some pictures. I love to take pictures, and I don't always share them, but now that I've got a little bit of a place to share them, I thought I'd show some. So I always share people my email addresses, right? If you need to get in touch with me, for Trevor@sunsetstitches.com, with anything to do with our website or any of my classes. And of course, if you need any contact through RNK, I have an email address there, tconquergood@rnkdistributing.com. And as the software manager, I often need to get involved with helping people and contacting people. So you're certainly welcome to reach out to me, you guys. But I just thought I would quickly show you guys some pictures from Cleveland, and that's my postcard that I made. And I actually did 2 different sketches for them because I was kind of inspired by the sign. When I started it, I didn't know there were 6 of them. So I guess I left some room, if they invite me back, I can do another one. But I think judging by what everybody said, they would love to have me back there. So I hope I go again. If anybody's watching from Cleveland, give me 2 thumbs up for that. But these were I stitched them on paper, and I actually stitched one and then gave it to the store. I signed it and said how much I loved them and gave it to them. So there I am. There's the first one. You can't miss the first one, because you come out of it's like right where you pick up your bags. Like literally, I just kind of waited for a moment until there wasn't somebody walking by with their bags and snapped the picture. But really, there's people all around me, and I've got my bags are right beside me. I just got off the plane. But I didn't go to my hotel. I went straight downtown. I was like, this is my best chance. I'm going to be busy all week. And I got into town. It's still daylight. So I went straight from the airport to downtown Cleveland. And this is like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back here, or something cool like that. And it's the North Shore Harbor or something like that. I forgot the exact name of it already, but it was at the end of like 9th Street, but it was fun to find. And then I got inspired. I got on the map. Google was like, hey, where's the next one? And they were all within about 20-minute drive of each other. So this one is Edgemont Park, and that's the view there from the park, and pretty cool. Hey, I got another little sketch, another photo. So I've been collecting those wherever I go. And if you guys invite me to your city, I'll do this for you guys. That's kind of how it works. This one was called The Forge, and you wouldn't believe it's in a parking lot of a gym. You would have loved this, Nick. There's a rowboat rowing by, there's a rowing team rowing in the water here, and there's the sounds of guys like pumping iron on like freestyle weights. And now I'm in another one, and it's like the bridges are here, and this is kind of a point of land where it's a little bit higher view. I forget exactly what it was called, but anyhow, that was another one. So that was 5. I guess I left the 6th one for next time because now it's the next day and I'm at Pins and Needles. And Daniela and Jan are the family owners of Pins and Needles, and they call it a sewing super center. And oh my goodness, you guys, it's such a big sewing store. That is, we're in the classroom and we're only using about a third of it. All those people, they could have moved us over here for lunch and moved us over there to do a project. The room was so big, but that's the view from where I stand. You know what, and everybody's being entertained by something else right now. We made patches, and so it was fun to meet people and kind of interact, and everybody made their own patches. And Mary here is their Floriani usage teacher. I love the terminology that they used in that store, but they had an embroidery usage expert, and they had a Floriani usage, teacher. And Mary was is that person. So thank you, Mary, for being our Floriani teacher at Pins and Needles. And we got you a few new people. There's one of my students, one of the members of our workshop. That's Connie Jackson, you guys. Connie came to see me. Connie lives about an hour away, and she wanted to show me some of the beautiful freestanding lace that she's been making. And so just look at Connie's earrings and necklace, and she even made the chain. So she's doing excellent. And it was so great to meet her because I had never met Connie before, but certainly, Connie comes to all my classes and participates in all our challenges. Yeah. They took my skyline and blew it up and put it on their long arm quilting machine. This is like in a whole nother part of the story, it's not even in the classroom, but it's a pretty big space. And you can see all the Floriani stuff is kind of over in this section here. So they made a little sort of store of all the products that people were learning about. And look what happened, you guys. Oh my goodness, I was so excited. Barb won an FTCU software. She bought a box of thread. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Floriani Garden Party. Here, let me grab one. I've got one over here somewhere. I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about. But this is my copy that I got. I never even opened it up to see. I hope I didn't win anything because I don't think I'd be allowed to anyway. But would you bring me Big Nick? That's what she bought. If you go to a Floriani event, you want to buy one of these, or if you go to the Floriani store, you want to pick up one of these because it's not in every box, but in some of the boxes there are golden tickets. And I don't know how many boxes came to my event. I want to say not that many, 4 or 6 of them or 8 of them maybe, but she was lucky. She won the FTC. That's probably one of the biggest prizes that you could win in the box. Well, I can't think of anything bigger, so obviously that was the big one, right? But there's probably there's all kinds of prizes to win. So congratulations to Barb. That was fun. Thank you to everybody for showing my pictures. Let me flip me back over. I might have a few more pictures. I think that might have been the last one. I'm not sure. Me and Jan, that was, and that's me saying goodbye, to the store. So I packed up and now I'm heading home. And where do you think I went after work? For a walk in the Ohio forest. Yeah. Okay, Nick, you can bring me Big again just for a moment, and then I'm going to go do some work here. We're going to do some digitizing, but yeah, what a great time. Hey, that was fun. And I'm so happy for somebody to win that at my event. I haven't been that was the first event I have done since the golden ticket program came out. And it was so exciting to have that happen, at the event. It really, was really great to see the express. She didn't actually come for all 3 days. She had bought it on the first day was the Savior Embroidery Day. That was kind of the biggest day. And but she came back in on Saturday to say, look what I found in my bag when I bought that box of thread. So it's like 20 spools of thread, and it's a really good price too. I can't remember what exactly the price is, but you want to check your Floriani dealer to find out about the Garden Party thread box. And it also has, I don't know if you guys have noticed the new packaging on the thread at Floriani. but it's very nice. We've definitely stepped up our game in terms of presentation. And on the back, there's like the QR code thing, right? So when you it comes with designs. You just there's a QR code to get. The designs that are on the box are the designs that you get. So how cool is that, right? That's a neat idea. So when you're buying, and if you see there's other ones, there's like a 10-pack, the Winter Tidings one. And so those were popular things, that's a nice packaging, goes a long way. Apple figured that out, didn't they? They made it all clean and sleek. That's all my news. I'm just looking at the chat. So, you know what? It's so funny, City. That's why I went. I was like, she says, the Buckeyes must love your t-shirt. Now, I don't know who the Buckeyes are, but I have in my yard at the lake an actual Ohio Buckeye. It was a gift. We call it Scott's tree because in 2001, Lauren and I actually lost a child at birth. And so the tree was a gift. And so I went looking for one. I'm like, maybe I can find a Buckeye when I'm in Ohio. Well, guess what? I didn't find one in the forest. I don't know if you have to go to the park or where they have them, but it said Ohio's the Buckeye state. So maybe that's just the name of the sports team. But I thought for sure that I was looking for the Buckeye, the tree. All right. So go ahead and bring me big again, Nicholas. Last week, I was working on this design, and I worked a little bit more on my plane ride. So I feel like I'm probably, maybe I think I said this once before, but I feel like I'm one more week away from finishing this one. I was really working on the letters. Here, let me turn on my little, I'm missing two things, Nick. One of them is my ring, my yellow ring. Where's that? Here, click on my start menu, and it's called pointer focus. A lot of people ask me, a lot of teachers ask me, what is that yellow ring you use? It's pretty cool. It's got settings. I can, see how it does a red ring when I left click, and I think it does a blue ring when I right click. You can control all these things, so has nothing to do with Floriani. But whenever I talk, I like to use it because it helps me. And then the other thing I wanted to turn on was in my program preferences. I wanted to turn on the under sketchbook, the show last stitch marker, because that lets me know where I've finished, right? Like I know exactly what, now that I see where it is, I remember exactly what happened. I was in my plane doing my design. I just finished doing Eeyore's Gloomy Place, and I started to do Eeyore when I was interrupted because somebody hadn't wanted to get into their seat, because I was already seated and I was kind of doing it. And then I put my computer away and I never came back to it. So I'm literally like right there. So that's kind of funny. What I'll probably do is say, okay, I'll do that part over again. It's not worth saving, but I would just kind of pick up where I would left off, right? So I can pick up my running stitch tool, and you can decide kind of wherever you want to start them. But I was kind of jumping from the P, so it just seemed kind of like a logical place to put it. And so right now he's so small. Like I know it looks like there should be like something here, but I'm really paying attention to how far is a millimeter when I pull my cursor like this. And, that sort of is about the distance of 1 millimeter. So really they're this is a small. We're looking at a little tiny spot. But we still want to be able to capture the kind of essence of it. So maybe what I'll do is we'll just kind of try to ziggy-zaggy back over this area. And so just do it more than twice, a little bit thicker there, I guess is what we'll say. Here, I think those are supposed to be the ears. So I'm going to do like 2 triangles for that. And then I'm going to keep going around his face and kind of give him his chin and then around his tummy. So you'll notice that I'm really just clicking. How do I describe it? the minimum stitch length. Like I'm looking at how far is a millimeter and I'm trying to get 1.3, or 1.5. I really don't want to go 1, but in a small spot like this where I want to turn a corner, I'll do a 1. But then I'll try to pull it a little further because I know that the software is going to try and click the clicks that I make, right? And then if they're too close together, it won't click them both. The one thing is it will observe a minimum when you do a design like this. So just know that you can click a gazillion if you want to. The software's not going to put them all in. But that said, what I'm really trying to do is figure out where's the distance where they can look good, and do that. So that's my thing. And then with a lot of these sketches, part of what it comes down to is, can I get it to have some areas that are sort of darker, call it heavier, if you will, and then some areas that are not as heavy. That gives it the dimension of, of a little bit more dimension. So a little bit thicker here, tail, bigger. But here, try to keep it kind of fine and just like maybe even 1 ply. Like I think when I ran around these front legs, I just instinctually went around them. And then the next time I came around, I just went around the belly and I didn't even go around twice, just to, so like I said, a little bit. And when you look at it at actual size, so now I'm going to zoom out to 1-to-1. You can kind of see Eeyore in that, I don't know. Of course you do, right? Because it says Eeyore's Gluey Place and there's a little blob beside it. So we can accept that. And that's Piglet's house. And, I don't know if that really looks like Piglet, but I tried, you guys. It's hard to interpret. Part of it is I wish I would have found higher resolution images to start with, but I went with the ones that were free from, the Google, we did it in Digi-Talk number 1, when I went back and I showed where I got the images from and, why I thought that it was reasonably safe for me to do it and share them with you guys because of the expiration of the copyright. So whatever, all that said, we did a little bit more today. So, hey. Of course, yeah. Joyce is asking, would a bean stitch make it thicker? Yeah, but Joyce, he's super small. And so what I'm saying is I went 3 or 4, or I think I went 5 times through this area myself. Forward, then I jig-jagged back, then I came forward again. That's 3 already. Then I went around the horn a whole nother time. That's 4. Whereas here, I actually only went around once. You know what I mean? So that and if it was a bean stitch, then when you go around and then go around again, it becomes 6 plies. So that's all fine and dandy for when you're doing large things, but this is a very small thing. This little guy, if I measure Eeyore, side to side, he's less than half an inch. And top to bottom, he's probably 1/4 of an inch. So it's just, if I did a bean stitch, he would just become too heavy in general. And I think the main reason why I try and do the 2 ply is just that, because, for example, if I walk from here over to here, and then I want to go somewhere else, I can walk back down that line, and I've done it twice. And I can come over here and I can go around something over here and I can come back. And that's been done twice. And now I can come, somewhere else. And if I want everything to be the same, because right now I have kind of like 2 plies here, 1 ply here, and 1 ply here, and then 2 plies there. If you want them all the same, then you just follow back again. So that's 2 singles is really that's my technique, is what I'm saying. I tend to use 2 singles, except if you said to me, yeah, but this area needs to be thicker, then I'll go 3 plies or 4 plies in that area. So I manually did 4 here. I manually did 2 there. And if there was one area that was really fine, I might do like a single and then a single, and so really in my design now, I've got one area that's got 4 plies. The majority of it is 2 plies, and some have singles. And so sometimes when I'm doing a design like this and I'm going along the line and I don't want to have to go back again, I will do it as a 3. But rather than stop and tell the program, I'll just do like walk along a little bit and walk back a little bit and walk along a little bit, then walk a little further and walk a little back, and especially if it's a creek, I can throw a little extra in that one area because it seemed like there was a rock or something. And if I needed to put a little tangent, I could go off and come back again. And so I tend to work in single ply, is what I'm saying, to give me the freedom to decide. It's a good question. And the answer is yes. If I use 3-ply, because I can do this whole line that I just did, changing it from a single, I have 2 options. I could change it to a bean, and that's the triple, right? So when I change it to bean, so now if you watch it, so it'll do forward, back, along, and then forward, back, down, and then forward, back, and forward, back. So in this area, it gets kind of like 2 beans, and in this area where I went there and I went back, it'll do forward, back, and forward, back, and forward, back again. So this area would be still heavier than this area. So not wrong. Just the Eeyore is so small, I know that there's not need for a bean stitch. The single's plenty. And anyway, good question. I do a lot of this style of digitizing. So I'm saying single ply. It's just me and I'm the needle, and we can make it go wherever you want. So this is the ones that I made for this week. That's like the Winnie the Pooh with the heffalump scaring them. And, I didn't read the story recently, but I think they're bad dreams anyway. And then I thought I would do one from, start one up right now. We got about a half an hour. Let's see how far I can get, and you guys can ask me questions or just listen to me babble on while I try and work on it. But basically, if I don't get it done during the presentation, I'll finish it up and you'll get it next week kind of thing. So yeah. Okay. If this is my image, maybe the first thing I'm going to do is just try and determine before I even click a button, what size is it, right? Have I got the size right? And most of these small ones, if I measure it, it's about, just about 5 inches, and I don't know if you noticed, but if you could bring the big for a second, Nick, a lot of these ones that I've stitched out are kind of in that size, right? Like here's the heffalump with the Winnie. And so, I've been trying to make them my small hoopers. It doesn't mean you can't expand them, but they weren't designed to be 8 inches or 12 inches either, right? I might have put more detail in. They kind of were intended to be used, but that said, there's not a ton of detail in it either. You could probably size it down or size it up. So let's just look at that for a sec, right? What happens? I'm picking a size, but I'm giving you the design. You're going to be like, well, maybe I want to use a different. So there's the design. And that's the cool thing about getting it as a Floriani, WAF file. It makes it very editable. It'd be real easy if you wanted to just take Winnie the Pooh in bed and get rid of the heffalump and, put something else there. You could just use your lasso selection tool and just lasso around the heffalump to kind of pick them out and make sure that you don't lasso around Winnie the Pooh. So, then I just lassoed out the heffalump, get rid of them, and you're left with Winnie only. Yeah. Turn the backdrop off. But let's put them back and let's select it all. So what I'm saying is, yeah, it's like just around 135, which is probably right around, if I go in inches, right around that 5 inches and a bit. But I don't see any reasons why I couldn't go down to here I am, or let's go for 3 inches and see what it looks like. Okay, so at 3 inches, you might find that the honey pot started to look a little bit more solid than it did at 5 inches. But outside of that, I think most the rest of it will be fine. In here, I'm just curious if any of my stitches are too small. So if I measure that, let's make it metric, because I usually do these smallest measurements in metric, and let me even turn on the needle points, right? So now you can literally see the dots. So I can measure from one to the other. It's 0.8. And this one is 0.7, almost 0.8. So yeah, I would say now we're getting to that minimum. I definitely wouldn't go smaller than 3. It kind of depends on, it's not that it wouldn't sew. It's just some of these things might almost sink in a little bit. Depends on what you're sewing on. Can it support those tiny stitches, or will they just pile in? Because what I want you to understand is the needle itself is about 3/4 of a, when you use the 11/70 needle, that is, and if you were to draw an actual circle and just watch what I'm saying here, I'm going to make it 0.7 of a millimeter. That's a 0.7 of a millimeter. That's the width of the needle at actual size. This is like, there's your needle spot. So imagine the needle just went in right there. Well, if I don't move at least 1 millimeter, they don't end up falling into new holes. Does that make sense? If you try and move a 0.5 millimeter, the chances are that the needle, the thread goes back into the hole it just came out of. And so that's why I try to keep my minimum. So that really, that's your minimum. It's not a rule, but it really kind of is, because the machine and the needle size, it has a physical limit. And so knowing that when you resize a design, that's what you're concerned with, is because I've done all the clicking, and eventually it will leave points out. It won't even, if you tried to make this like 1 inch or something like that, I don't even think all those clicks would be in there. Let's look at this. So if I take it down, and now now it's at 2 inches tall. So we'll look again and see if, see, now the star is no longer a star, right? Like, and let's move these circles. See what happened? There was supposed to be a little 5-point star to make a dot there. Now it's just a dash. So that's what I meant when the software will start to take out detail if you make it too small. So really, I guess in that case, it's not out of the question for you to go ahead and make it a real tiny one, and see, especially if you want to use your delicate thread, like take that design, push it down to 1.5 inches and sew it with the 80 weight thread, and be a rebel. Break the rules. They're not really rules, but I kind of sometimes call it the unwritten rule of embroidery, that we're all going to use 40s weight embroidery thread. So now I've got the whole thing down to 1.5 of an inch. Is that what I made it? Heights 38, yeah, 1.5 inches. It's, I can still tell that it's Winnie the Pooh and Heffalump. The honey, the pot's going to be more or less closed in. You're definitely not going to see the word honey anymore. But it still kind of reads that there was a word on it, and I think our imagination knows that says honey. So, this is a fun thing to do sometime. Maybe someday I'll do that. I'll stitch out one of these designs and show you guys how small I can make them after I digitize them. But originally, if I undo this whole thing was, big like that. So we made it a lot smaller from what I digitized. But that said, could you make it bigger, Trevor? Well, sure. Now it's 5 inches. So, now we're 6 inches. Now we're 7 inches. Now we're 8 inches tall. So it's still going to be a run stitch at 8 inches tall. I think it's still going to look good at 8 inches tall. You're definitely going to be able to see you're starting to see any imperfections in maybe the digitizing. Now you could maybe make an argument for coming in and doing some sort of finessing with some of my points that I maybe, didn't intend for it to be quite that big. And so now I'm like, well, if you're going to do that, why don't we clean up some of this lines that are here? And because at the smaller size, they were connected. Those things would have been, but now that we made it in 8 inches, so maybe then you might say, well, why don't you digitize it at 8 inches so that it'll look good at small? But the truth is, I like to digitize it the size that I intend to sew it at, because it helps me to know how much to put in and how much is too much, kind of thing. So I feel like there's just a point missing there, and it probably needed to be a straight line point. That is a line, so it's this one that I want to make a line. And boy, oh boy, it's kind of all messed up here. There we go. And then I still need one more line. Right click, add a point, and change it to a line, and there. So if I right click now, now at the bigger, like this is what I'm saying. If you want to take somebody's design that intended for it to be around 4 inches and then turn it into like an 8-incher, and it's a run stitch in the beginning, yeah, you could do a few things. I might come in here and be like, well, another thing I might do is add a bit more stitching, right at that spot, and how do you do that? Well, I showed you guys last week how I can split a line. It actually kind of looks like it breaks already here. Look, that line right there. Where does it start? Let's just check it start. Oh, see, it's got a green start point right there. So that's convenient. I know that there's a line that starts right there. So if I want to add, I can just click my digitizing tool and click in a few extra lines, and put them, wherever they seem like they look good, just to kind of fill in the gaps a little more. And as long as it finishes where it started, and now I would have to move it, right? Because when you digitize something, it goes at the end. So I had to figure out, well, what was the number of that one? Okay, so I want it to be before 11, and I just made number 16. So up, 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 up. Now it's number 11, and the old number 11 is number 12. Anyway, that's how. Okay, so ask me a question and you can get me. I don't even think anybody asked a question. I just asked myself the stupid question. So now that I know the size of it and I'm happy with the size of it, and I want to know kind of where's the center of it. So maybe I'll just select it to see, oh, okay, so that's kind of the center of this image here. So I think I'll start with the heffalump and then do Piglet in his bed next. So when I start with the heffalump, if my needle's resting there, I'll just probably pick a spot somewhere like right there and get started. So I just type the number 2 on my keyboard because I know that that's the run stitch tool, and I basically just want to do click, click, click to get a run stitch going, and then, start walking along the road kind of thing here. And I'll make sort of judgment calls on when to connect to a line, so that there's less jumping. So I try not to have, jumps between little elements like this. So I just click, 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 and click them all together. And of course, if they touch somewhere else, I don't need to do it like that. But this way, I can try to reduce the number of times that you need to stop and trim the thread. I will do major. I'm not going to connect the heffalump to Piglet's bed, right? We'll do, I'll allow some trims, but I try to reduce them, is what I'm saying. And if there's a design where somebody drew, and let's face it, when you're drawing with a pencil, it's not wrong to lift your pencil off the paper and then click and start, your pencil going again somewhere else. That's not wrong. But in embroidery, it's annoying, right? It's not wrong. But if I do it over and over again, like if I draw cross hatching left to right, left to right, left to right, you're like, oh my God, he just like made me look at all the knots on the backside. How did that, how do you think that feels on the skin when somebody makes there's not anything wrong with having a knot on the back of your embroidery, but if it's unnecessary, if you didn't need to do it, that's my point. It's not that you can't. Here, I'm just gonna walk up this road and get to the end of it and stop, and then select all my work and color it red because I don't like the blue color over top of the black lines. I can't see it. And I usually turn on 3D so I can kind of get a visual. Oh, okay, that's what I've done so far. If I zoom out, so, now we're at 1:1, that's what we did. But if I like to move this down to like 400%, or even 600%, and then I'll just nudge my screen to get it. So, all right, we're sitting there, and I'm going to do the whole heffalump as a 2-ply, but if I end up doing any of the lines as a 3-ply, I'm not worried about it, So I'm sitting right there. I just start my next line and kind of keep coming. I see there's a line I missed straight, so I'll just pick it up now. That's no problem. So basically, the only trick of it is kind of remembering how to get home again, because I'll know all of the parts that I've done 2-ply, but I won't always be able to easily identify how to get that last part that I didn't do 2-ply. So what I'm saying is you'll get to this part where you get all the way around the woozle and back to kind of the beginning, and then you want to go around that last time. So I look at it and I'm like, okay, I'll use like the outside of his leg, the underside of this leg. Maybe I'll actually just keep going and use his body as that path line. So I'll do this leg as a complete unit. I'll do the whiskers and everything as a complete unit, but it's the kind of global line that goes around this leg. Actually, no, I did that leg twice already. So really it's just going to be the outline of the elephant. That's what we'll pick as our, when we get home all the way around, then we'll just have to go around the outline of that elephant, heffalump again. So keep going, Trevor, on you go. And because it's nice to have a plan, in your mind, like then you can kind of free it up a little bit and sit and just click your lines and chit chat with your friends, or watch the show or whatever, or listen to the music. I like to listen to the music. That's if you come to Sunset Stitches and I'm not live like this, the music is going. We always have, it depends on who's here to what's music's playing, right, Nick?
Yeah.
But I let Nick, when he's here, I usually let him kind of pick the tunes because, I figure I'm here alone enough and I can probably listen to whatever I want. But I don't mind listening to anything. And so, but I guess the question is, what are you guys listening to when you're doing your embroidery works? Can you guess what mine is? What would you say, Nick? What am I going to put on?
Last year you were listening to a lot of the Elton John album.
Elton John, yeah, good answer. Yeah, that's for sure. Especially that concert. I really liked that, didn't I? With the whatever his last big concert. Motown. All right, Cindy, I like it. Lately it's been Elvis. I've been doing like Elvis 68 live from Hawaii. Remember that concert that like simulcast around the world? It was like the first time they did that, like literally the first time that they had linked up people in countries all around the world, and we all watched Elvis Presley. Yeah, does anybody remember what I'm talking about? That's with us here live. Anyway, that's what is on my playlist lately. I use Spotify for the most part because it's easier. I got all those same albums and I have all the same CDs, but I usually end up just listening to it on Spotify because it's easier. I listen to the same stuff half the time. That's why I'm like, Nick, you can pick over the music because I'll just put on the same stuff.
70s rock or early 80s.
Oh, 70s rock. Me too. I love 70s rock and early 80s.
Cindy says Jason Aldean.
Nice. Very nice. Sounds good, you guys. So I'm almost done my heffalump. How am I doing for time? Nick, 15 minutes left. Here's what I'm going to do with the heffalump. I'm going to go back like this, and then I'm going to do kind of like a little bit of jingy stuff for these without being too fussy over it. Just trying to make it look a little bit, it's not that I don't want to make it look like the original, but I don't you have to interpret, right? Because we're making it into thread now. And sometimes some interpretation is required on that. So, anyway, I'm going to right click and see what I've done. So yeah, you can see where we're at. We got almost all the way around the horn. Let's keep going with his head here. So whenever I see something like this, I'm like, well, I can walk down here and get to that piece, and then I can get this piece later, so I don't have to connect that. That's fine. So from here, we just head down this way. And when I did the Winnie the Pooh, I will say this, I'm doing the heffalump as a straight outright red work or all 2-ply, right? Usually that's what I call a red work design, when you kind of do it all 2-plies. And a lot of my red work designs are sewn in red, so notice that I've been sewing these in red, but they're not really meant to be red work. I fully intend to put these on a quilt later on, and I'm not going to be doing it in red, I don't think. But you never know. But I did this guy in a 2-ply because it's in his dream, and I wanted it to be kind of more vivid. But when I do the piglet, I'm going to make sure that the bottom of the bed looks darker. I'm going to go 3-4 times in areas here. I'm going to go around the post sometimes heavier. I try to make some 3s and 4s, So when I did the heffalumps, I decided I'd just go like kind of just to 2 straight. And I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that was my interpretation of it. It's up to me, right? When you do it, it's up to you, right? So you can decide, but I'm doing these designs, so it's up to me. And I say, this one's a 2, but even within my 2s, you might find the odd time where I'll drop a line and do just a single ply, because it's a delicate line and I just don't want it to be too heavy. And every once in a while, I'll even throw one in as a 3, or like I said, these kind of furrier, hairier parts on this heffalump, I have been doing that. So I'll get back here and then go back again. And then the second time, I'll hit all those extra lines. So I just kind of go like back and forth. If I want, I can go up, down, and into the middle again. So across, up, and maybe just down, and so they become like little E-stitches or something like that. And really it's easy because I'm just following Mr. Shepherd's lines. I'll have to think too hard about it, but now here I kind of see some lines like that. I'm trying to decide if I can't just kind of like zig out and back like this to represent it, and maybe even follow the same line so that you don't fill it in. And you can see when I do that, I'm doing it with my wheel. I have a wheel on my mouse. So I don't know if you guys have a wheel on your mouse, but the eyes bug me on these guys. Okay, there's so many lines, and if I connect them all together, that was the one part of the last design that I was like, I don't want to make these 5 different little knots back here, but if I connect all these things, it starts to not look like an eye anymore. I can't tell which is this the actual eye, and then these are like eye sockets or something, and maybe I could lose the second eye mark, or is it really one bigger thing as the eye? I couldn't decide. And normally when I can't decide, I go to Lorna, which is my wife. But hold on, I have to think for a second here. I came down here and I got to here, but I want to go this way to fit. And I feel like I need to go back and come around. No, you know what it is? This is the new outline. So I got to here, and when I go around this way, I can go all the way back to this, and then come all the way back to this point again, whatever. So I'll keep going. So here, put this line in here, whatever that line is, and I'll put this line in here. And then when I get to this spot right here, okay, so that's going to be the left turn, that goes to the new stuff, but I'm going to go back. So everything from where I just did, I'm going to do 2 plies. I'll come back to that point. So we'll go around the end of his nose. And yeah, anyway, you guys, it's great to touch base with everyone, and I enjoy doing Digi-Talk. I hope you guys enjoy it. Oh, you know what I forgot? Nick, was Larissa's question. So now I'll have to tell her it's at the very end. I've saved myself a few minutes, and in just a moment here, I'll answer. Because I was just about to say, it's not a bad place to come and ask me a question, because I love to answer questions, and some of the questions are a lot easier answered in a video than they are in a text, and writing them out. And so sometimes somebody will ask me a question, I'll be like, come on Wednesday and I will show you the answer. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's not a bad place to ask a question if you want. If not, I'm happy anyways, because I'm digitizing and I'm getting some designs done, and everyone else is happy because I'm sharing them with the members of the classes, right? So the more I do, the more designs you get. So look, now I'm heading my way back, right? I've kind of got all the way to the spot that I had turned to go, down that tusk. And I got to that one spot where I wanted to just, turn and catch this stuff. So I've caught everything that I seem to have missed. And now I'm heading back, and I'm just trying to follow the same line. I try to click the same clicks, but I don't make it a rule. And I don't think it's a problem to hit different clicks along the way. If I get right there, that's the point where I said, okay, fine. So when we came around the edge of the half lump, we got to here, and we turned down the tusk, and we got to there, and then I did all the other stuff. So now when I come forward, I'm now back on the road, away around the hefflump. See what I'm saying? I'm moving on, and now I'm doing a little what I call a branch line, a little branch like that. Just walk off, and then you get back to your main kind of road again. So now I'm on the main road, and I'm actually back to where it started. Is that right? No. Oh, this was okay. Got it. So this was the point that I said I don't have to go. I can only come to here, and then I can not connect it, right? So that the real road, there's the end of the road, right there. So I started right here in his armpit. So we've kind of come to the end of it. I can head back now. So I'm now going, okay, where did I go to get here? Can I remember? And this is where I was saying I have to go back this way now to catch these lines to there as 2-ply, and then keep heading backwards along the edge of the top of his head. I did all the ears and everything as kind of little branches, but not this one. This one here. Oh, yeah, no, I did this year. I have to go this way. See, sometimes you got to think a little bit. How did I get there? You guys are like, no, don't go that way. You went this way. We remember, and it's not that I don't, but I'm talking like fool with his head cut off sometimes. And, so I can't think sometimes while I'm talking, sometimes I have to take a moment and just shut up, Trevor, and think about what you're doing. Yeah, but I think I got to there, and then it's around the bottom of that leg, because I remember doing the other leg I did it, and you can kind of tell, like, if you're not sure, if you get zoomed in close enough, you can see it. If you're like, which way do I go, this way or that way? When you zoom in, you can usually tell if there's 2 plies somewhere or one. And I think technically now this is where I started, right? Right now I'm right back to the very beginning again, and I right click. And so we did that whole little hefflump. At least we did all the parts that I felt could be connected. And then I was like, this is what I was saying about the eye. I'm like, I don't know. If you look at the one that we did, this one here, I struggled a little bit with the eye. Oh, here he's bigger than he should be. Keep going backwards in time. Back. Oh yeah, because I did a whole bunch of shape editing, and after there. So I don't know. I couldn't figure out what was the eye. Like, is this the eye? And that's the eye? Is it okay that I connected them? Because you guys might, oops, that's a different one. You guys might, have wished I did something else. And in which case, I guess you're going to have to digitize it yourself, because I made my decisions. And so here I'm trying to decide, okay, well, I don't want to make it like too drastically different either, but I think in the last time I connected this all thing into one big unit. So I don't know if I can do that again or not, but where that's my 1 millimeter, like right there. This little eye should be like one kind of like multifaceted, star like that. And then come up and catch this piece like this, and then catch this piece like that, and maybe something like this. So once again, I don't know. I don't know. But then I was like, well, it's a heffalump, Trevor. Who knows what they're supposed to look like? And you kind of followed the lines. Woo! I noticed I missed one. I'm having fun here. So I'll either edit to add it, or, well, I'm going to add it. I have to edit some way, but the question is, I'll either move the points. So see, I've figured out, okay, I can move that one down, right click, add a point, put it kind of like there. Maybe curve this a little bit, right click, add a point, put it there. Maybe left click, tell it to be a line so that makes straight, and then grab this line here and curve that and right click. Done. Whew. Boy, oh boy, we're moving right along. What's our time, Nick? I better save time for Larissa's question. I'll have to write back and tell Larissa it's at the very end of the hour. I'm sorry, I meant to do it at the beginning, but I'm going to hit new. Larissa said, put the question on the screen, Nick. What was the question? Do you remember? It's right at the beginning there, yeah. I can't make it today, but I'm trying to make applique letters at 6 inches taller for a banner or standalone. All I heard was 6-inch tall letters. Everything else seemed like a detail. Is that like you want to applique a letter at 6 inches? So if you need the letter, right, you need the letter shape. There's lots of places to get them. If you come to your custom shape library, it says custom shapes, but if you click, there's also the easy art. And these are letters, right? So it's going to come up with the A, the B, the C, the D. All the letters are going to be here. You can just grab your letter and click on your applique tool. This is let's do it in Imperial here. That's about 4 inches tall. I can come to my properties box and tell it to be in inches, tell it to be 6 inches tall, and click apply. Then I think the question, because when you have an artwork shape of a letter and you click on applique, it's going to give you the default settings, right? You're going to have a placement line, then it's going to stop. You're going to place some fabric over top, or you're going to place a pre-cut fabric over top. Either way, you're going to push start again, and it's going to sew the second line, which can be your capture line or your trim around line. And then the third one is the cover, and that's the default, but you can select this and interact with the properties box. And I didn't leave enough time to go through all the settings, but just know that I could do a blanket edge for my cover stitch. I could not include the cover stitch and just like turn it off if I didn't want it. And that would just give me like a raw edge applique, and then you could do your own border. If I do the satin border, I can control the width of it. So if it's not fat enough, I could make it fatter, and I could also include underlay stitches. So you could make it, as fat or as narrow as you want to. If you don't, so where else can you get artwork for letters? Well, with your text tool, there's, first of all, there are, even just in text, there are some applique fonts. So now you're talking about using the text tool, and you're looking in here and notice that under A for applique, there are some applique fonts. And so you could use an applique font, but you can really make an applique from any font as long as you can get the artwork for it. So another way of getting artwork might be to use your TrueType font artwork tool over here, where it's going to give me like a box that I can interact with. Oh, here, that's not what I wanted. This one here, it gives me a box where I can interact with, and I can use this to select the font. So now you're looking through all the different fonts in your computer to select one, and you can choose the size, but it doesn't really matter because you can size it later. But now you get the bold oblique, all the different kind of variations of that font as well. And you type in your letters. So if you're in to do your applique as a T, C for Trevor, then you click T and C and click apply. And now I get artwork of a T and a C. And once again, as long as you have artwork of a T, you can select it. And the tool is down here at the bottom, applique. And then the C is over here, and you click on applique. Now, Larissa, I just want to talk for one more minute, because really, to be honest, if you don't know all of that, what I really recommend is the Power Start classes, right? Let me take you to the Sunset Stitches website. This is where you can join to be a member. Click enter, and it's totally free to do the Power Start. My Floriani Power Start classes, there's a member download page. And if I'm not logged in, I won't be able to visit it. And so what you want to get is your login to that. If you click on join now, you'll get it. Or if you click on account, view all member options, you'll get it. But it's right here, the Power Start. You can go ahead and click to join. If you want to join Workshop 4 and you select it, you have to pay. But when you select Workshop 4, right here where it says, do you have a discount code? You can click yes, and then type in Trevor 99 and click apply. And that will update the price to be $99.97. And so that is only the discount that I have for you guys right now. But, because once you log into these things, and if I was to, for example, go to the Power Start classes and actually just log in, then I not only would be able to get to the Power Start, but I would be able to get to whatever you have purchased. And for some people, 8 plus 5 is 13. And so I'll answer it correctly this time. Oh, well, okay. Now it's just being weird. So I won't bother logging in because I don't know. I don't want to fuss with my password online like that. But the point is, when you get logged in, you can get to all the member access pages that if you join for Workshop 4, you'll have access to that one as well. And so, yeah, it's so great to see. I'm just going to check in with the chat box and see who's here and if there's any questions or comments for me, because it's kind of rounding out to the top of the hour right now. So I appreciate everybody that came, and I hope you like my new Ohio Buckeye shirt. It was fun visiting. The next time I'm going to leave Saskatoon is in September. I will be in San Diego Sewing Machines Plus, and I am working on a whole bunch of different events for the fall. So here we can clean that up, Nick. So, and next winter, but I have brand new event that we're preparing. So when I go out next time, it's going to be all new stuff. And I hope to take it to all of my favorite stores. And so if you guys want to call into your favorite Floriani store and be like, Trevor says he has new content, and they can give me a call. They can literally give me a call. Just tell them, contact Trevor directly. Yeah. I mean, they can contact Floriani and book it that way too, but I'd like to talk to them first. So why don't they just give me a shout? So yeah, tell your favorite store. I think Suzanne was asking down there in Florida, and I got a phone call, and so we're talking about it. And so maybe there'll be some dates to plan and to announce to you guys. But anyway, if I get any new dates, I'll let you know. But I'll post them on my website. But what I'm saying is I'm going to be home for the summer, so I'll have lots of time together. But in the meantime, I'm looking forward to some trips in the fall. So, yeah, I better let you go for today, guys. I got work to get done, and so if you're keeping up with me, tomorrow is a special class. I forgot to put a slide for it. It's FTCU workshop number 3, class number 16. We're having a little retreat. It's called the Special Stitches Retreat, and it's just for people that are from my past workshop number 3. And really, we did a workshop number 1 retreat, you guys, workshop number 2 retreat, and a workshop number 3. This is our number 3 retreat. So two new classes for workshop 3 in June. If you're a member of workshop 3, you'll be able to download them and attend them live if you want to. Anybody who owns workshop 1, 2, or 3 and you're not on my website, please join with a free account. Send me an email and I will be happy to give you access to your workshops, you guys. And there's so many people. If you're at the Foriani Club, be like, didn't you join? Just let all your friends know there's new classes and they need to come and join, because not everybody's joined yet. So I hope I do. Until then, you guys, I'm going to let you go for now. Thank you so much for being here today. See you Friday for Free Font Friday. If not, tomorrow for the class for Workshop 3. Until then, bye for now.